I actually, now that I think about it, I think we have some questions to go over from yesterday too. Is that right? So we'll try and get that done today here too. But I wanted to get these notes done here. A tropism is is the growth of a plant in response to a stimulus. We're going to look at two different types of tropism. Okay. The first one, obviously, as you guys have kind of seen already, we're talking about phototropism, which has to do with light. So as we know, plants tend to bend towards the light, or trees will bend towards the light to gain more sunlight. And we're going to learn a little bit how that happens. So the first, like I said, tropism is any growth of a plant in response to a stimulus. In this case, phototropism, it has to do with light. Okay, is a response, the growth of a plant in response to light. Okay. The next one here was called positive phototropism, because that, of course, refers to basically it's going to grow towards the light. Okay, it does that by a growth hormone, which is called auxin, which I labeled on there. I'll put it on there again. And the auxin kind of go to the shaded part of the tree, okay, or the plant. So the auxin kind of go to the opposite side of the sun, and it causes those cells to elongate, basically become longer, and that's what forces the plant over, kind of thing. All right, which is right here. Okay, and like I said, they have this little here. We're going to talk a little bit more about auxin coming up, so don't worry about it too much. But auxin, okay, are responsible for that bending towards the sun. Okay, it's called it's a growth hormone. Okay, the plant goes towards the light in positive phototropism, just like sunlight, of course. The next one we're going to talk about is negative phototropism, and it asks you what part of the plant would exhibit negative phototropism, basically away from the light. Okay, yeah, what? Yeah, roots. Okay, would be an example of negative phototropism. They grow away from the light. Okay, so roots would be an example of that. Okay. Basically, the rest of the plant would be positive phototropism. It always wants to grow towards the sun. Okay. Good. Okay. And again, like I said, negative phototropism. Which part of the plant would that be? Roots. The plant grows away from the light. Okay. Negative phototropism. Okay. Good. Let's take it. Let you guys copy there. But basically, we're going to talk a little bit about who came up with some ideas about phototropism and what their research was. Charles and Francis Darwin. The experiment was they took oat seedlings and covered some of them with foil, exposed them to light, and the ones with covered in foil at the tip did not bend towards light. So basically, doing that. Let's see. There's a conclusion on the next page here as well. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're writing that. Okay. There's a conclusion on the next page here. So again. Basically, they cover the tips with foil, and the ones that were covered with foil did not bend. So their conclusion was the tips respond to light and somehow communicate with the cells in the area of the bending. Okay. So Boysen-Jensen experimented with grass seedlings, removed the tip, cover the stump with the gelatin and replace the tip. And he did the same things using mineral mica. Phototropism only occurred in the plants with the gelatin and not the mica. So he knew that there was going to be some way that there was still that communication, something that was traveling through that, something that was traveling through the gelatin and not the mica. Mica is kind of just a hard substance. It does not allow that transport to occur. So something was happening there. There was some kind of cell communication going on between cells. To make sure that is bending over. Okay. So the growth response is due to some kind of chemical, and we're going to learn what that chemical is called. It's called auxin. Okay, that is responsible for that growth. Okay, and Wendt is the last one we're going to talk about here. He removed the tip of a plant and placed it on agar, which is a gelatin-like substance, and a growth chemical diffused out of it. And he called it auxin. Tips of oat seedlings placed in the chemical grew. Okay. And again, there's a conclusion on the next page here as well. Okay, and then the conclusion here, the chemical auxin is responsible for the growth that is observed in phototropism. Yeah. So, phototropism. Okay. If a light shines on a plant from one side, the auxin moves to the from the plant tip to the shaded side of the stem. The auxin causes the cells on the shaded side of the stem to grow faster, and as a result, the plant bends towards the light. Make sure you draw a picture of that. I think you already have a picture of that if you drew that 4 diagram thing from before, so you're fine with that probably. But you do probably need to copy that down somewhere. If you don't have that, you should copy this down. Okay. So gravitropism is the growth of a plant in response to gravity. Okay. When a stem is placed on its side, auxin and starch grains collect at the bottom of the stem. This is due to gravity. So if you put a plant going this way, okay, horizontally, look, horizontally, everything gets sucked to the bottom because of gravity. Okay. So because it goes to the bottom, this encourages the bottom of the stem to grow more, so the plant will bend upwards and away from gravity, basically. So it's what we call negative gravitropism. Okay, it's the opposite. It doesn't go with gravity, it kind of goes against gravity. But the reason it goes against gravity is because all the auxin and starches get pulled to the bottom, which basically improves those cells to elongate, and then it then starts to bend up towards the sun. We call this negative gravitropism because it goes away from gravity, right? It goes in the gravity's pulling down, the root or the plant, is growing up. Okay, so we need to know that as well. That's the second type. So we're going to look at our, like I said before, we're going to look at phototropism and gravitropism. Okay, light and gravity. Again, gravity will pull everything to the bottom of this of the stem, basically, of this horizontal plant. When it comes to the bottom, it's going to promote growth on the bottom of the plant and not so much on the top. So you kind of get this looking thing here. Okay, again, going this way here, lateral transport of auxin downward due to gravitational stimulus. So we're basically going to pull everything to the bottom. Okay, we should probably have some elongated cells here. Okay, and as the bottom part grows, it's going to start to force the plant up again. Okay, so greater growth on the lower side due to increased auxin concentration. Okay, and that's what's going to happen. Okay, so if you want roots exhibit positive gravitropism. They grow towards gravity. They grow with gravity. Roots go down, gravity goes down. Okay, pulls down. So roots exhibit that. Auxins actually stop the growth of root cells so that a root placed on its side will grow down towards gravity. Okay. I don't know if this basically makes any sense to you or not, the diagram here, but basically in a root cell, auxins do the opposite. They slow the growth. Okay. So they slow the growth, and as a result of that, they bend downwards. Okay. All you really need to know is this part here. Okay. Roots are the positive gravitropism. They grow with gravity. Auxins actually stop the growth of the root cells so that a root placed on its side will actually grow down towards gravity. That's all you really need to know about that. Okay?